Here I am at the start of the Incheon to Busan cycle path here in South Korea. 633 kilometers all the way to Busan with dedicated cycling path most of the way. So I did from Seoul to Busan earlier in the year in April. It was awesome. I did it in about a little over 5 days. And I was missing this piece from Incheon to Seoul, which they list as 21 kilometers. It's actually a little more than that to get to the center of Seoul, but you get the point. And of course, if you started in Busan, this is your finish here. 633 kilometers. So if you're starting here in Incheon or in Busan, first thing you want to do is pick up one of these booklets. And this is where you're going to stamp it along the way in these red boots. Here's the stamper, and then this would be the route all the way down to Busan. There's some other routes. East Coast route. And if you bring your booklet then down to Busan, after you filled it all up with stamps, they'll give you a medal. Here's the map of the Ara Waterway, this canal they built from the Yellow Sea or the West Sea up to the Han River. And it's 13 miles long. So there's a bicycle path on both sides. The official route from Incheon to Busan, it goes on the east side, so the lower part. So here we go. This will be the beginning of the journey all the way to Busan. But not for me. I already did it back in April. It's a great route. Recommend it. If you're having trouble finding the start, just look for the giant wind turbines. The trail is mostly well marked. There's some places where you might have a little trouble, but overall it's pretty much well marked. This whole trail to Busan is actually a bunch of little trails pieced together, so it doesn't always piece together perfectly, but it's pretty good considering it's 633 kilometers. I did a pretty good job. So we're starting things off with a coffee here at Mega Coffee. I've never actually been to this chain before, but it's super cheap. 1,500 won, so less than maybe $1.25. The nice coffee shops you'll pay maybe 5,000 won for a coffee. So I'm sitting outside because it's nice. Beautiful day in December. Got an amazing day here. It's normally a lot colder than this, but it's about 60 degrees Fahrenheit in December in Seoul. That's rare. Okay, so this is the sign you're going to be looking. You're going to be following that to Seoul and then all the way to Busan. These blue signs with the arrow. Again, it's a little tricky sometimes, but you should be able to, if you're looking out for it, you should be able to find it. So the first 13 miles of this are going to be on the Ara Waterway, which is a canal that connects the Yellow Sea, or the West Sea, to the Han River, which splits Seoul into two north and south sides. So it's really pleasant, very flat. There's plenty of toilets along the way. There's some food trucks, some coffee trucks. Recreation area, playground. In the summer they have that turned into a waterfall. Kind of cool. Yeah, this is a nice stretch. Really pleasant cycling. If you don't like hills, it's all flat. You can rent bikes out here. If you want to take the subway out here, if you're not going all the way to Busan. So 633 kilometers to Busan. Yeah, if you do roughly 100K a day, that's a good size day for most people. Some people are going to do more, some are going to do less, but that'll get you to Busan in about 6 days. You're cycling most of the day, but not killing yourself. Again, everybody's different. Spring is a really nice time for this, or the fall. Summer is good, but it gets pretty hot during the summer here and pretty humid. So there's plenty of accommodation along the way. Budget hotels are going to run you. I got some for most for $40 to $50 a night. It was a pretty good deal. Clean, friendly, and I think every one of them let me bring my bike into the room, which is nice. I don't have to leave it outside overnight. And kind of before the trip and each night I kind of scoped out where the budget hotels would be located, you know, approximately 100K down the road. So here's a good example. Looks like the main route is going straight, but actually you have to look at this sign. This is telling you to go right. And the actual main path is going this way. So you have to read the signs and not just look at the path, because it looks like the main path is going straight here and it actually doesn't really lead anywhere. So now we're at the end of the Ara bike path, and you're going to want to stamp here in the booth, and this is where we're going to meet up with the Han River bicycle path. That'll take us into Seoul. So at almost every convenience store in Korea you can buy these rice wrapped in seaweed. This one has mayo and tuna, so some nice calories for us cyclists. And these are situated along the Han River Trail. Good stuff. We're getting closer to the center of Seoul. So we're traveling east now, and that's the Han River to our left. Seoul will make a really good day one ending point. There's a lot of good value accommodation here. You can even stay at a hostel, get a private room in a hostel if you like. Hostels are usually pretty nice. My biggest piece of advice would be to do less miles than you think you can do on the first day. That'll just kind of ease you into it, because normally you have more weight on your bike, and you don't want your knees to be abused that first day. Probably gonna be pretty sore. So just central Seoul would be like about 25 miles if you start in Incheon. That's a nice, easy first day. Yeah, so here we are. Yeah, this just about does it for day one, Incheon to Seoul. It's a good place to find an accommodation and rest up for the next day. I'm gonna put a link below. That's gonna be the playlist for all the Korea route to Busan.